Folks, we are back, and to close out our week and close out our month, and even, well, as fitting for us inside our live trading room, close out our summer. A little parrot head here from Leda. One of our students here sent over this T-shirt. I always like to wear it on a Friday, casual Friday. But hey, good morning. Great to have all of us here this Friday. It's August 30th, as I have to squint my eyes. Great to see Michael, Lawrence, Leda, Kathleen, got Brad, got Richard, Mark R, got Richard G, got all of us inside our live trading room. Great to have you back there. All of us back on social media, though, otherwise, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc. The only thing I was missing is this right here on the lower left, at Cyber Trading You. If you're new to our streams, new to our social media feed, that is, at least hit the follow, hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, feel free to join us inside our live trading room. But I'll tell you what, for our students there, they know with the holiday coming up, Monday, markets are closed here in the U.S. Labor Day. It's one of our favorite holidays, of course. It's, although the end of summer, it's still the summer, right? So get out there with your family, get out with your friends. Finally, one last chance to enjoy the weather before it starts turning freezing cold, at least around you in the Northeast. By me in Florida, it is going to be actually pretty perfect. But with that in mind, let's hop right to it here, because our students like Michael Gillis, Jeff, Lawrence, etc., they know with the holiday coming up, things are going to be slow, right? So things are going to be rather slow heading into the day today. It'll be a rather drag. Intel's up like 6.5% though. So this is running off of some sort of news. I have the news right here, at least from Benzinga. I'll just post that right here. Intel shares trading higher following a report suggesting the company is weighing options, including splitting its product design and manufacturing business. So I guess that had a pretty strong reaction off the street, at least. Here's the full deets. Here's the whole report, at least, from Benzinga. But with that in mind, hey, it's a nice trade to work off of, right? Let me ask, inside our live trading room, did anyone jump into this move earlier today when the news came out, at least, or after the pop at 8 o'clock or 8:30? Anyone have the chance to jump in on this trade? I didn't get my hands on it. I was just trading Lunar and BNRG this morning. Went break even on the BNRG. Then the Lunar, I got like 4 or 5 cents. Not much, but this was a great little move here, right? I mean, perhaps you weren't expecting it for a Friday of all things, but we'll take it in pre-market, and we'll still take it going into the market open, at least. So we'll put it on our watch list to start until there. Now, otherwise, though, Intel is like a really strong move, but I was hoping for a little pop on BNRG, just never got it. It was moving up towards 150. Then even here, resistance off of after hours yesterday, 155-ish, that is. Keep Benzinga open. We got time for the news. So check out the news, at least on BNRG. We'll check out the news, at least for the other trade, Lunar, and we'll go from there. But yeah, BNRG trading higher after the company reported a year-over-year increase in H1 EPS results. The company also announced a projected pipeline valued up to $500 million for a small cap company. BNRG, $500 million is a lot. It's a decent number there, at least, whether it's some sort of contract they win, whether it's some sort of pipeline valuation, whatever it is. Just that number sounds good. So it led to a big pop right away in the after hours last night. Normally for a cheap stock, like 65-cent stock, you don't see it make this extreme of a move up. So that's where it's tough to expect more, perhaps. But if it's going to show high or low and move back up here, if there's a case for a breakout, then you got to have the confidence to take it. But from there, how about this? A little teacher mode right now. But for Sam and Grant, and let me get some other names here. I got Glenn, I got Laureen, I got Marcella and Matt and Miriam, going in alphabetical order now. But when a stock breaks through a big level, right? Just like we teach in Traders Talk, we do our weekly workshop on Mondays. When a stock breaks through a big level, what are we expecting shortly after? Simply put, what are we expecting shortly after a stock breaks through a big level? A big move, right? We're expecting a big move. If we're not getting that big move, folks, what are we doing, right? So I got out on this trade right off of 151. I was in from 151, and I was a little worried about this, like taking me out and then all of a sudden running back up. This seemed like a very choppy move at first. So although I'd taken the trade, I was looking for that proverbial big move. Still, if you don't get it, you got to get out. So this trade right here, at least I got out of, but I'll put it back on our list for the open. It's still kind of lingering here, making a higher low, and there's the thought of it trying to pop. Then lastly, in pre-market this morning, it's moving up now a little bit without me. Shit. All right. Happens, but I don't like multitasking. So, I was doing this meeting here, and normally anyway, going into the market open, look to get out of my trades by 9:10, 9:15 Eastern. But Lunar had popped yesterday. They ended up coming out Shares trading higher after the company was awarded a 116.9 million. So again, where we go back to like small cap companies and whatever that last one was, BNRG. Never traded that company before. So I'm assuming they're smaller cap than Lunar, to which we've traded Lunar recently with the whole space launch news, right? So when BNRG has like $500 million pipeline valuation news, whatever the hell that means, that number statistically is way bigger than this, of course. But if we're respecting Lunar and the possible run up here off of that type of news, then that's where we absolutely have to respect the BNRG. I hope this doesn't go up too much without me at this point. I only took like 4 or 5 cents on this trade. I was in from 570, got out at 75. But from last week, 567 was a key level, and it never materialized as a breakout, right? It was definitely a big volume level. So I had confidence in the entry, but just drooping and pulling back here a bit right before we were starting. So I'm like, I don't want to start this meeting and then have this thing tank on me, as we're going through, right? You can't do that. So it's the ebbs and flows of trading. It happens. If I was not in pre-market, at least I would have set my stop to break even. But so be it. We're going to put this back on our list, though, still. See if this can break over 6 and make a higher high. Listen, that was the better level. 567, truly, in my opinion, was the better level. But at this stage, I don't mind taking it from a higher price if there's good conviction from 6. Right, and that'll be on more shares with the regular open there. Set your stop there at that point. But let's go from top to bottom now. Bell walked out. Bell B, one of our students here inside our trading room, she crushed it on this trade. So really quick, let me just get her post. She had called it out, I think, just a little earlier when it was like already making its move, but it had a pretty thin order book. That's where you had to be careful on this trade. She had a great entry on it, at least. So she was already in. She was in from 462. She was collecting already at that point. Clean exit because she got out at 610. 610, pretty much right here at this point, like well before the higher high even. But that's enough meat to take off the bone here for this trade. That's enough of a profit nonetheless, right? So, yeah, great trade from Bell. I'm going to put this on our watch list here too. I feel like this will be easy to build up our watch list today, right? For a summer Friday. It's the last Friday in summer altogether. Last trading day before my birthday. Jeez. Just to say at least, though, market's going to be slow. So for a trade like this is as good as we could ever expect, and it's only up 33%. So perhaps there could be more, but you definitely want to recalibrate. You want to reset yourself going into the open. Now, news out on TOVX again here. I'll just share it from this monitor. Trading higher. This is from Wednesday. This is from 2 days ago, actually. Trading higher after the company announced it received a U.S. patent application notice for the allowance of treating C. difficile disease. If you know what this is, let me know. C. difficile disease. Let me know what that is. Otherwise, but nonetheless, that was from Wednesday afternoon. Even let's actually take a look there. Yeah, it had a crazy pop, crazy drop, and then obviously now here. So it goes back on our list for now. Looking good. All right, so we'll keep scanning, though. I mean, really, top 3% gainers are on our watch list at this point, looking good. EBS, this is an MPOC stock, an MPOC stock, my speech impediment there. But, of course, now it's like very flat moving. I have no business with this trade right now. If it ends up making a move after 9:30, we'll call it out, but for now, we'll pass. Laureen saying TOVX also, on top of that news from Wednesday, they also announced a reverse stock split. Oh, I didn't see that. Actually, just go back here. Oh, that was from even like the week before, but that's good to know because that increases its volatility basically, right? Anytime a company does a reverse stock split or a recent reverse stock split, they're doing it A for a reason. So that's not like a healthy sign long term, but B, it increases the volatility towards the company. So with that, it's a good heads up from Lorian. It was from like a week or two back, and now it's making a hell of a pop now. So adds fuel to the fire, right? All right, so Intel on our list already. Neo, you tell me if this deserves to be on our watch list, right? Look at this thing flat, going nowhere. SOX L. So SOX L, of course, we could add to our list. That said, NVIDIA, we could put back on our watch list, kind of, still kind of reeling off of its earnings. We typically will call out stocks like NVIDIA, like Tesla, if they're like up a good chunk, if they're trending well at the time. But SOX L is the sector ETF, so that's up the most out of everything. I'll add that in general, and then I'll kind of slip NVIDIA on our list here too, just because it's still kind of coming off earnings. But Let's see what is on the loser side here now. Jeez, that's all we got. There's got to be more. Here we go. I mean, not as much volume here. Ulta took a huge hit. Buffett took a big position in them, I think, like last month or earlier in August. Ended up having a big gap up off of that news, actually, but then right back down to where it started, pretty much right here, right? So they're going to open up right around 340, which is filling this gap on the daily chart there. Obviously, Ulta is very expensive, so I'm not going to put it on the main special list, but it was one that we were saying to keep an eye out for going into their earnings last night. And perhaps it's a gap fill opportunity on the way back up even. Buffett knows what he's doing. So he's starting off down now at this point, or maybe he's break even now at this point. But just to say, I think that that'll be a bounce over time. Got the ESTC trade, XRTX, top percent gainer makes top percent loser there. RR, SOX S, whole bunch of garbage here, honestly, on the loser side. Honestly, that's the truth, though, behind it. There's none of these are really shortable. Can't really short this stock. And with that, really quick comment from Alexandre, I think, on YouTube, joining us maybe a little bit before we started this broadcast. Hope he's sticking with us right now. He says, ready to short the hell out of Lucy at overbought levels. Well, that's where I say a lot of these stocks are hard to borrow. You can't really short them on major brokers. TradeStation, it's listed as HB. You could still request the shares possibly. If you're on a prop firm, if you're on a broker that has the liquidity otherwise, I don't want to dismiss a broker that allows you to short a stock like this, but more often than not, the interactive brokers of the world might be able to give you the shares, but Thinkorswim, TradeStation, Fidelity, Schwab, more often than not, you can't short these stocks. So that said, more often than not, I don't normally look for these opportunities. But Alexandre, I hope that you crushed on this trade, man. I hope you're doing well. It's a good thought because for as much as Lucy had popped up from yesterday, look at this chart, right? Look back from late May of this year. What goes up came back down. History will repeat eventually. But with that said, though, you don't want to be on the wrong side of that move because you never know. You might have an ASTS in line here, right? So we didn't expect ASTS to make a pop from $5 all the way to near 40. Maybe Fausto did. He was in on that swing trade, but otherwise, maybe outside of Fausto of all people, and he was in from like 15 or 14. But just to say, you don't want to short a stock as it's trending up at least. But generally, I your thought there about shorting it off of the overpriced levels. All right, what do we got here? Sam, there we go, informing us about C. difficile disease there. I appreciate that. I will read more into that after we finish up. Larry says, where do they get the I think he's talking to Sam on that. There we go. So I appreciate you, Sam. Laureen on the TOVX. I think that just about does it, folks. That just about does it. I think that we're all good to go here. Let me check out Benzinga Pro before we wrap. Last here from the scanner. My volume criteria here. BBIO maybe, ATPC. These stocks I'm not as familiar with, so when we're getting those, unless if they're really popping, I'm not going to be a fan. So, yeah, passing on that BBIO, ATPC, pop and drop right there. I mean, it's more recent little pop here off of 9 o'clock. It just moved. Order book isn't, well, it's actually pretty thin, but maybe it'll fill in more after the open. I don't like this move already. Don't get me wrong, pop and drop, but it's possible this could try and make one more little squeeze back up and see where it can go. So I'll kind of slip it on the back end of our list. But folks, we're going to wrap up at least here for the meantime. If you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, etc., first, allow me to just say happy late Labor Day to those of us here within the United States, to those of us around the world as well. But my gratitude, my appreciation go out to literally everyone that has built up this country from the ground up. Of course, we could always mention, armed forces, military, anyone that has proudly served the country. But of course, first responders, police, nurses, anyone out there, of course, protecting our country in that regard. And of course, the real laborers with their hands building the country from the ground up. We appreciate everyone. And that's what allows us to do what we do here, working behind a bright computer screen. It allows us to do what we do and take off after we make our day's pay and start off our long weekend early, right? So again, my gratitude, my appreciation goes out to everyone that has all collectively built up our nation together. And with that said, hey, outside of our beautiful nation here, enjoy the day off on Monday. Of course, we will be off on Monday as the markets are closed. The market should be closed on Tuesday the 3rd, but that's a separate story. Folks, we're going to continue at least for the market open coming up. Got about 15 minutes until the opening bell. If you're interested in joining our live trading room, just scan that QR code with your phone, with your camera. We look forward to seeing you there. And for Laureen, Lawrence, Larry, the L's in tandem there, Sam, and all of us here otherwise, best of luck trading here heading into the open. We'll talk to you soon.